A body of men holding themselves accountable to nobody ought not be trusted by anybody. That seems like basic common sense. When plunder, for example, becomes a way of life for a group of men living together in society, they create for themselves in the course of time a legal system which authorizes it and a moral code which glorifies it. Authorizes what? Glorifies what? Glorifies plunder and everything that goes along with plunder. We're going to talk about a couple situations today, but first I want to get started with, the reason I have this point pulled up on the screen right here is this comes from the Random Patriot channel. I did a breakdown of this video where they go to Arkansas, Hot Springs, Arkansas, and ask the Hot Springs Police Department or members in that department what they thought about Hot Springs' reaction or response to the Halloween deal where they did all that stuff with all those kids. And I don't know if you've seen the video. Do the kids seem like they're out of control? Yeah, they seem like they're out of control. But who should be able to get them in control? That's our public servants. People who are there are supposed to be protecting and serving. I'm not saying anything positive about those kids. I think there's a major failure in parenting there. But then, you mix that failure of parenting with psychopathic power-tripping authoritarianism, and you got a pretty bad combination. What kind of a video do you expect to get out of that? I mean, especially when they're wearing their body cams, committing their crimes in broad daylight. Nobody says anything about it, or very few do. So I just wanted to show you this statistic. This comes from the mappingpoliceviolence.org website, and according to their records, police have killed 1,029 people so far in 2023. And we still got 46 days left in this year. Unbelievable. This year is going by so fast. And there's a couple of pretty good websites out there showing you how bad the police brutality is. It's almost like, people are like, guns don't kill people, bad cops do. And the reason I say bad cops is I'm going to leave it open that there are some good guys out there who actually want America to be the land of the free, home of the brave. I know it's a slim chance, it's slim to none, but I'm always going to be leaving that, that door unlocked. Let's put it that way. But then the burden of proof is on them. Oh, this is a good cop. Okay, I got a couple questions for you then. Are they enforcing and enacting the drug war laws? That long, storied, failed, expensive, costly, not only in terms of monetary value, but also in lives, that costly war on drugs, which ended up not being a war on drugs. It's a war on people. Because who in this land, what organization can take the credit for the largest drug smuggling operation? Where do you know the answer to that? It's in the halls of government, the CIA, the FBI, the DEA, Border Patrol, and Border Security. They're the ones who, if you look it up, they're the ones who were behind the Iran-Contra affair. What were they doing? You know what's going on. You know the score. We don't have to be taught this. And something somebody said in the chat before we started is about, the reason this world is going down is not so much because we have these law enforcers and we have the politicians, we have the judges and we have the presidents and we have the governors and we have all these psychopaths who want to rule us. It's the many who want to be ruled. And the reason they want to be ruled is because they lost their virtue. If you desire wealth greater than liberty, the tranquility of servitude rather than the animating contest of freedom. And that's what most people want. They want the tranquility of servitude. Just put a ruler over me, have him tell me what I need to do, have him craft and create laws, and then punish me if I break any of those laws. By the way, there's 70-something thousand laws in the Federal Registry, and you and I right now are breaking dozens of them, I'm sure. And that gives the state the authorization and the justification in their mind to come and just run roughshod over you because, hey, you dared break my law, you peasant? So if you love wealth greater than liberty, the tranquility of servitude rather than the contest of freedom, I say with Samuel Adams, go from us in peace. I don't want your counsel or your arms, though. Crouch down and lick the hands that feed you, and may posterity forget that you are our countrymen, because you're not. You're not a friend of liberty if you're a friend of the Thin Blue Line gang. And A lot of people said, hey, yeah, go over that thing that you mentioned the other night, that, do a live stream on the fact that you do not have a Fifth Amendment right. We don't have rights anyway. Okay, guys, it's all illusory. You can, at 2:30 this morning, while you're fast asleep, trying to get rest for your next day at work so that you can, try to put food on your family's table and a roof over the head and clothes on your back. At 2:30 this morning, the feds could break down your door. Whether it's the right door or not, they don't care about the address. They don't care about the ramifications. They don't care about the consequences. They don't care about the loss of life. Pizza delivery drivers are more accurate in getting the right address than a SWAT team who's coming to do somebody harm. They don't care if it's the wrong address. But at 2:30 this morning, you could have your door broken down, your windows shattered, flashbangs going off, your life in jeopardy, your dog killed, all because they got the wrong house. Because we don't have freedom in America. There's nothing to stop them from doing that. Helicopters in the sky, dogs on the ground, cruisers at full speed, putting people in danger. They have qualified immunity. Badges and uniforms in their minds grant special rights. So if you think we have rights, you got to wake up and smell the coffee and figure out what's really going on. And in regard to the Fifth Amendment, even according to the black-robed tyrants of the Supreme Court in Salinas versus Texas, you don't even have a Fifth Amendment right to be silent or have that silence work for you unless you specifically, unequivocally invoke that right. Let me go over this real quick. I'm just going to read it word for word because it's a pretty interesting case. And it's also interesting how the black-robed tyrants take full advantage of what they've given themselves back in 1803 with Marbury versus Madison, and they've given themselves the power of judicial review. In other words, they can look at the Constitution and they will determine what it means, and they will determine how it's applied, and they will determine if you've lived according to the standard of the Constitution. So that makes the Constitution not the supreme law of the land, but the interpretation of the Constitution by the black-robed tyrants of the Supreme Court. And so here are the facts of the case. In 1992, Houston police officers found 2 homicide victims. The investigation led officers to Mr. Salinas. Salinas agreed to accompany the officers to the police station where he was questioned for about an hour. Salinas was not under arrest at this time and had not been read his Miranda rights. Now, this is in 1993. Miranda came around back in 1966. That was Ernesto Miranda. That was that case there. Salinas answered every question until an officer asked whether the shotgun shells found at the scene of the crime would match the gun found in Salinas' home. According to the officer, Salinas remained silent. We're going to find out why that's a problem here in a second. And demonstrated signs of deception. Oh, he was squirming in his seat. He was blinking his eyes. He was shifting his weight. He was crossing his arms. He was exhibiting signs of deception, according to the police officer. The ballistics and analysis later matched Salinas' gun with the casings at the scene. Police also found a witness who said Salinas admitted to killing the victims. In 1993, Salinas was charged with the murders, but he got the heck out of Dodge and he could not be located. 15 years later, check this out. Salinas was finally captured. The first trial ended in a mistrial. At the second trial, the prosecution attempted to introduce evidence of the Salinas' silence about the gun casings. Salinas objected, arguing that he could invoke his Fifth Amendment protection against self-incrimination whether he was in custody or not. We're going to find out in a second that the black-robed tyrants of the Supreme Court said, no, that's not the way it works. Because we say it's not the way it works. We're just going to make a carte blanche arbitrary edict here. The trial court admitted the evidence and Salinas was found guilty and sentenced to 20 years in prison and a $5,000 fine. The 14th Court of Appeals, Harris County, Texas, affirmed, noting that the courts that have addressed this issue are divided. The Court of Criminal Appeals of Texas affirmed. So the question is, does the Fifth Amendment self-incrimination clause protect a defendant's refusal to answer questions asked by law enforcement before he has been arrested or read his Miranda rights? In other words, do you have Fifth Amendment protection just by remaining silent? Here's another question. Do you have Fifth Amendment protection against self-incrimination by saying, I don't answer questions? You know what the Supreme Court says? Nope, you don't. You don't have Fifth Amendment protections unless you specifically and unambiguously say, I invoke my right to remain silent. That's what the Supreme Court's saying in Salinas versus Texas. And basically, whether we like it or not, yeah, it's not a real law like the law of gravity or the law of, entropy. It's not a real law. All laws are backed by the threat of force. It's the opinions of political parasites backed by the threat of force. And who initiates that force? The law enforcement class. So the political class makes the rules, and the law enforcement class enforces those rules. If you step out of line, whammo. But even within their own rules, there are these certain magic words that you got to say or you don't have the rights. How many Americans do you think know that they don't have the right to remain silent unless they specifically invoke the right to remain silent? I bet very, very few. I bet there's a lot of people out there who think that it's okay just to say, I don't answer questions and then to remain silent. You haven't invoked your Fifth Amendment right according to Salinas versus Texas. And let's read this. So the question is, does the Fifth Amendment self-incrimination clause protect, let's just boil it down, protect you just by remaining silent? The answer by the Supreme Court is no. So Justice Samuel Alito announced the judgment for the divided court, and it was divided. It was like 5-4. Justice Alito, joined by Chief Justice Roberts and Justice Kennedy, concluded that the Fifth Amendment's privilege against self-incrimination does not extend to defendants who simply decide to remain mute during questioning. Did you know that? Did you know that you don't automatically get Fifth Amendment protections if you just decide to shut up? It's not enough just to shut up. Before you shut up, you have to say, I invoke my Fifth Amendment rights, according to the frickin' court. But wait, there's more. Longstanding judicial precedent has held that any witness who desires protection against self-incrimination must explicitly claim that protection. It must be explicit, it must be clear, it must be unambiguous. This requirement ensures that the government is put on notice when a defendant intends to claim this privilege. Did you see that? So this is a commentary on the case. But from the perspective of the Supreme Court, your Fifth Amendment right isn't a right at all. It's a privilege. And you don't have it at all unless you specifically invoke it. Tell me that's not crazy, upside down, convoluted world. And allows the government to either argue that the testimony is not self-incriminating or offer immunity. Oh, who has all the power there? The plurality reiterated two exceptions to this principle. One, that a criminal defendant does not need to take the stand at a trial in order to explicitly claim this privilege. They're calling it a privilege, guys. It's not the Bill of Privileges. It's the Bill of Rights. You don't have the privilege of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. A privilege, it sounds like something that was given to you. If you don't have unalienable privileges. You have unalienable rights, rights that weren't given to you, rights that can't legitimately be taken away from you. But the court wants to talk about this in terms and in the sphere and on the level of privilege. What the frick is up with that? And that's why I call them the black robe tyrants of the Supreme Court. That's why I call the supreme law of the land the Supreme Court, especially after 1803 Marbury versus Madison. When you arbitrarily grant yourself the power of judicial review. In other words, I will be the sole arbiter and interpreter of the Constitution. I'll tell you what it means, and I'll tell you how you got to act. Otherwise, you're going to get slammed by the court system. That's being above the Constitution. It's putting yourself above the Constitution, at least since 1803. Now, does that mean that there aren't some good rulings that come down the pike every once in a while from the Supreme Court? No, because good rulings do come down the pike in the Supreme Court, like the one the Warren versus DC, when they said, no, you got the right to self-protection according to the Second Amendment. But then they slap all these, it's convoluted in itself because they slap all these other restrictions on it. But you got to make sure it's registered, but you got to have a 10 or 45 day waiting period or whatever. That is called infringement. I am simple. Shall not be infringed means shall not be infringed. No infringements, no limitations whatsoever. And it's more than you have the right to keep and bear arms. It's that other people don't have the right to keep you from keeping and bearing arms, if that makes sense. So there's more that can be said on this because there are a couple of court cases like Burgess versus Tompkins, and let's see if I can show you this. Burgess versus Tompkins in 2010 and Miranda versus Arizona from 1966. That's where we get the Miranda rights. But just know that according to the Supreme Court, you do not have a Fifth Amendment right unless you specifically, clearly, unambiguously invoke that right. In other words, I invoke my right to remain silent under the Fifth Amendment. Unless you spell it out for them, you articulate it to the cop, then anything that you say can and will be used against you in the kangaroo court of law. The next thing I want to go over comes from the Jonathan Williams channel. This is another example, as if we needed another example, that getting your ID is literally like the most addictive drug to an addict. Watch this. This guy, Jonathan Williams, is pulling over in his red Impala because his wife is throwing up because she got sick from ordering a McDonald's flurry or whatever, whatever chemicals are in that started coming up, and the body's like, hey, stop feeding me this stuff. He pulled over. She's puking on the side of the road. Enter the Alabama Sheriff's Department. Check this out.
Cool, man. Okay.
I'm out with you, so
Here, let's label this. Who is this? What do you say? Crenshaw? I didn't get the name.
What did you say your name was, officer?
My name
Sheriff.
is Officer
No,
Wood.
I know y'all go by different things.
Last name's Wood. He looked in. Well, actually, your windshield's busted. It's like, what'd you pull me over for? I pulled you over so that I could take the time and figure out why I pulled you over. I'm sorry, that doesn't wash. That doesn't jive. That's not legitimate. That's basically what you're doing is harassing. You're using your power to harass this man. Oh, your windshield's busted. Yeah, that's why I pulled you over.
To check
But
on
did you
but
pull
I'm
me
asking
over
you to
for that,
identify
though?
yourself.
Did you-
You might be a murderer. or
What
you
law
might
did I
be
break?
somebody wanted.
What law did I break? What law did I break that you want to identify me for? I just want to know. What law did I break that you identify me for?
Now, let me just point out, this cop is not concerned for his safety. His actions prove he's not concerned for his safety. His actions prove that he doesn't think this guy is dangerous, because if he thought this guy was dangerous, he would never take his eyes off of him. This cop has his back turned to a potential, in his words, to a potential, I don't know if you're a murderer or not. I need to see your ID, because you giving me your ID will help me determine whether you're a murderer or not. Not scared,
Not coming back on file neither.
not fearing for his life.
Why you running tag? What traffic violation do I have? Why? What traffic violation? No, baby. What traffic violation did we commit for you to pull us over? So
I
wait,
pulled you over. It's a suspicious vehicle.
am I pulled over?
Yes, you are pulled over.
For what traffic violation?
For a suspicious vehicle.
No, what traffic violation am I pulled over for?
Go ahead.
Come on, let me get paid. We need some money, don't we? What traffic violation, sir, am I pulled over for?
Are you going to identify yourself? or
No,
not?
I'm not.
Okay.
What traffic
I
violation?
tell you to identify yourself
For what crime?
because I'm out with you.
No, so
You're driving down this road.
what crime do I have to identify for? Am I being detained?
Look at that. Again, completely turns his back and his head 180 degrees from the direction of who he suspects might be up to no good. Is that smart, officer? Aren't you telling the world here that you are not scared? You're not concerned that this guy might be a potential suspect in a real crime? Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Am I being detained, sir?
Yes, you are. Right?
For what crime?
Because I'm out with
For
you.
what crime?
Because I'm out with you.
For what crime?
There is no crime committed.
So why?
Boom. There is no crime. I'm only pulling you over and running your tag because I got authority and I'm going to exercise. Boy, I just can't wait to exercise my authority today. When he left his boyfriend today, this cop, Somebody in the chat suggested that he was wearing women's underwear. Before he walked out the door and put his women's underwear on and left his boyfriend, he's like, I'm going to exercise my authority, man. I cannot wait. That's the sign of a weak man. That is abusing your authority on somebody you know is going to be helpless. You know you have unlimited resources. You know you have the power of the state at your disposal. You know this guy's going to have to bow down and lick your boots if he wants to walk free. That is the sign of a weak man. Any law enforcement agent who's watching this video right here, if that's your spirit, if that's what you do, if that's the activities and the practice of your life when you're on the job, you're a coward. You're a freaking coward.
Am I being detained then? If there's no crime being committed, why am I being detained? That's a good question, ain't it?
No crime.
If there's no crime being committed, why am I detained?
On this road.
Did I get pulled over?
You pulled over. I wanted to stop.
She was sick. Okay. She was throwing up. She has throw up there also.
And when you see me go by, you got in your vehicle. You pulled up and you waited.
So you got them coming code 3 for this?
Come out. You pull over.
She pulled. Oh wait, I waited. Why? Why did I wait?
What this cop just said is as weighty as him saying, I saw you come out of that Dollar General with a bag of broccoli and I wanted to pull you over. It's like, that has nothing to do with being close to any reason why you could legitimately pull me over. I saw you had red sports shoes on and your left shoe was untied, and I figured, you know what? If that ain't suspicious, I don't know what is.
So you got them coming code 3 for this?
You to identify yourself. That's all I asked.
Why?
That way I know who I'm talking to.
We're talking. We've been talking.
I told you my name.
But why we need to identify?
Look at this guy code 3 in.
I figured you would help my wife with something medical, but you got them running. You're not helping me at all. You're trying to identify me. I don't have to help you. I don't have to help you. I'm trying to help my wife. I'm not concerned with you. I'm concerned with my wife.
And I want to.
No, you. So why aren't you helping her? So what? Well, check on her then. Check on her. Huh?
Did it again? Look at that. Complete 180 again. We should point out, I think I missed a couple, but I think we should point out every time he turns his back on a potential assailant.
Want to identify me, and I haven't even done anything wrong. You said yourself I haven't did anything wrong. So why are you trying to identify me? I don't want to be in your system. A suspicious. So what makes it suspicious?
As soon as you see me, you pull over.
We was just coming out the store, the Dollar General right there. We just bought dog food. We just bought dog food. You saw us and pulled over.
No traffic violation, but suspicious vehicle.
You know, I'm not against the guy with the camera, but what did he do wrong? What has he done, and what does he continue to do wrong? He's doing one thing right. He's recording the police. But what is the primary thing he's doing wrong here? He is giving the cops an account. He's giving them a reason. He's trying to reason with somebody who's unreasonable. He is opening his mouth. Once you determine this cop already admitted there is no crime. In other words, I don't have a legitimate reason to pull you over. He already admitted it. Shut up. Button your lips. I invoke my Fifth Amendment right under the Constitution that you're supposed to be supporting, protecting, defending, and upholding. And I'm going to wait for you to violate my Fourth Amendment right to be secure in my person, because now I'm going to file a federal lawsuit against you, and it's going to stand because you're clearly in the wrong by your own admission. Be quiet. Invoke your Fifth Amendment right, keep recording police, and let the chips fall where they may. That's how you have a better chance in court. Remember, your phone is a portable courtroom. The jury doesn't want to hear you banter back and forth. They want to hear you stand on your rights and shut up. Just keep recording this tyrant's activities. Get his crimes on film so that when the jury sees it, when the judge sees it, and they see that you were polite and cordial and you did all that you could to de-escalate, then it's going to go in your favor.
What makes it suspicious? What makes it suspicious? What makes this vehicle suspicious, though? It's a regular vehicle.
All I did was just want to know who I was talking to.
And we're
I
talking.
told you who I was.
Oh, that's all it was? Oh, it's not that I did anything wrong. I just want to know who you are. Okay, gotcha. All right. And I'm going to force you to interact with me. And if you don't interact with me the way I want you to interact with me, because I have a pool of violence in my heart, I'm about to ladle some out and spill it all over you, because I do have authority.
I'm private. I like to keep my business to myself.
Okay, so that was part 1. Here's part 2 right here.
And I'm not turned up, so like right back there, pulling out. I had to get him to drive because I was sick. Right. We didn't get but right there, but that little dirt road.
Stop explaining things to cops. They don't care. The more you talk, the more they're data mining. They're collecting information on you. It's not going to go your well. They don't care that you threw up. They don't care that you're sicker than a dog. They're psychopaths. Psychopaths don't care about that kind of stuff. They just got to have that ID, man. Give me your ID. Do you have ID? Well, I know who you are. I just wanted to talk to you. They're the guys in high school that nobody would talk to them. Now they got authority. Now they're going to force you to talk to them. I'm going to back you into a corner. You're going to have a conversation with me.
Right there, and literally there was a pile of it where I threw it all up, and I was like, okay, let's go ahead and go. And then literally I started throwing up again, and I could not stop. Like I just threw up before you even came up here, and like I feel
I understand that, but all I'm doing is ask to identify you. I know who you are. Like,
how many rights have been violated under the sentence? All I was doing was, it's just an ID. It's just ... It's just that I'm a tyrant and I'm totally going to trample the rights that I'm supposed to be protecting. It's just all I'm doing is, it's kind of like Terry v. Ohio. It's Pennsylvania versus Mims. It's a minimal intrusion onto rights. Yeah, but it's still an intrusion, and it's still putting your tyrannical foot in the door of my house, and I don't want it there.
all you gotta do is identify yourself, and then me and him can speak cordial.
I've been speaking cordial.
So
I don't have a problem with
this
you.
game where you don't
No, sir.
identify.
This
You
is not a
have to
game.
identify to a law enforcement
No, I don't.
officer.
That's another
Yes, you
thing.
do.
I'm gonna put this out. No,
Yeah,
sir.
please do.
Why? Why? Did I like I asked you?
Am I not right, Brandon?
The cop doesn't. Am I not right, Brandon? Come on, back me on this. Oh, so now you're trying to enforce something you yourself are not even sure of? Oh, keep on talking, officer. I'm loving this. This is great. Am I not right, Brandon?
On a little, so I'm gonna actually put it in the ashtray.
Literally, we were pulled over. We didn't get pulled over. We were pulled over.
I got out with a suspicious vehicle because you came out of a parking lot and immediately got over.
She was throwing up.
Okay.
Because I was parked there.
So
Okay,
she's
and I
supposed to throw up
understand
in the
that.
floorboard?
If I ask you to
Sir.
identify yourself, you should identify yourself.
Sir, are you married? Are you married?
I am.
If your wife is
Opened my door, throwing up. He was holding my shirt while I was throwing up, so I didn't fall out.
Shut up. Shut up.
See, I don't know what was going on. All I can see is somebody whip over real quick. They're crossed.
and which
I don't
so
know, he might be choking
so
you out for all I know.
so wait, hold on, babe. So if I was sitting there choking her out,
No.
you sat
She was
there.
holding you. Well, you were holding you.
No, I was holding her back
Okay,
over
either
there.
Way, vice versa.
No, you said
Either
this.
way.
If I was choking her out, you sat there while I would have choked her out, and she would be dead now. But I'm trying to take care of my wife.
Can you at least give us your name and
Why?
Can you
Why?
at least?
'Cause
It's like
you wanna
they're almost in the position of begging. This is hilarious. Can you at least give us your name? That's all we're asking for. And then you can go on with your day. Just do what we tell you to do, and we're not going to pull our guns and tasers out on you and throw you in the back of our car and kidnap you. Okay, that's all you got. This is all we're asking.
What I don't like about this is why I'm saying no, because he's not even concerned with my wife throwing up. He's more concerned with me. Why though?
That's because
Is this a medical emergency?
I'm assuming. So is it a medical emergency?
She was throwing up. I'm not a doctor.
Do you need rescue?
Okay.
I'm just asking
Yeah.
questions, man. It's part
See,
of my job, you know what I'm
I've been dealing with him. So fresh start, right?
man. I'm
Fresh start.
cordial, bro.
What's your name?
My name's Deputy Case.
Deputy Case.
Yes, sir.
Pleasure.
I've actually been sick a while.
Is it really?
I just got
Is it really a pleasure? Are you going to say it's a pleasure when the carjacker comes to take your car? Are you going to say it's a pleasure when the thief breaks into your house at 4 o'clock in the morning to steal your, TV or whatever. Hey, it's a pleasure. Hey, what's your name? Hey, you were super professional and polite while you were stealing my TV and trying to go through my safe and, holding my wife at gunpoint. You were super professional, super cordial. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. It's a pleasure. No, shut up. Shut up.
In my head, I had a limb fall over, so
I'm gonna step back if you want to.
anyway,
Okay.
so I had to get staples put in my head, so it's been making me nauseous, and I tried to eat something, and it's not. Like,
Shut up. They don't care about staples in your head. You could tell them you lost an arm. You could tell them you fought in Vietnam for their rights. They don't care. You could tell them you're Russian to, you know how I know? Remember that video that I can't remember who covered it. I covered it on this channel. A bunch of other channels covered it. Remember that family who got into their car because their dog got hit by a car and they were rushing to the vet to save its life? Those cops didn't care. They don't care. My grandmother's dying and she's got like 10 minutes to live. They're going to pull a life support. I got to get to that. They don't care. Give any sob story, believable or not, real or not, they don't care. They're going to follow orders. They're the conformists. They're going to do what they're told regardless of what is right. And they'll even do beyond what they're told so they can advance more tyranny. They don't care. They're not worthy of respect. I don't appreciate meeting them. I want them to leave me alone.
It's been like that for days. It's been going on.
Anytime you get head trauma like that.
Yeah, the CT scan wasn't working at the hospital, so I haven't even got that done. They did an x-ray. But as you know, I've just been nauseous and pretty much tired and sick for friggin' days. And I was like, yeah, I'll get a damn McFlurry. And, it's laid back there. Like, literally, you could see.
Dang, I hate you wasting $3.
Like, yeah. Well, no, $4.29.
I'll be like, you all right. I don't know if it's a game, but you all right so
No,
far.
man,
Like,
No,
honestly,
it is a game. He's not all right. Because this guy's about to get arrested by both of the road pirates. Both of them. He's not all right. Stop stroking their ego. They want to hear that. They're like, oh my God, they think I'm all right as I'm enacting tyranny on them. This is the best of both worlds. They think I'm a great guy. They think I'm the best thing since sliced bread, and they have no idea what I'm planning against them. Plotting, conniving, conspiring.
I don't know where the suspicious part came from. That is.
All right, so here's the thing, right? All right, so Alabama law states anytime that you come in contact with a law enforcement officer, right?
consensual or
if we ask you to identify yourself, right, especially on something like this, where it kind of comes out as suspicious, we don't know.
what is this though?
Is it suspicious or not? It kind of comes out as suspicious. He's just doing this on the fly, man. He is out on a limb.
But here's the thing, and this is what I'm trying to explain to you, right? When we come up behind you, right, we have to analyze and try to picture what's going on and be able to make that decision. It comes out kind of suspicious, right? Just making sure vehicle pulled over on the side of the road, maybe holding hair, something like that, right? And then we can figure out, oh, hey, you're a helper. Cool, right? And they're like, hey, man, do you mind if we go ahead and get your license and stuff like that? Just identify who you are, right? And it's as simple as that. You say, hey,
It's as simple.
Yeah, you saw me. Yeah. I got on work shoes, but still, you know what I'm saying?
Man, you know what I'm saying?
Stop joking around with the cops. They hate you. They hate your ever living guts as they're smiling on you and giving you compliments. Oh, I understand. Oh, man, my daughter got sick the other day, too. They hate you while they're saying it. It's so, like, if you're into the spirit realm or whatever, it's demonic, man. They will appear as an angel of light, as your best friend, as your confidant, as your buddy. They'll get you to, all they're doing is trying to get you to drop your barrier. And then once it gets low enough, boom, the Death Star turns on the tractor beam, and then there's nothing you can do. Now you're caught in their vortex of evil.
Does she need rescue? You want me to get an ambulance to come look at her?
I'm wondering if she's pregnant.
I mean, we can get an ambulance to come look at her.
Cause this been by what, two days now, maybe 3. So, but would the ambulance give her a pressure test?
Just wait. There's
I'll
more.
take her to the hospital for that. They'll do blood
There's
work
more.
and stuff like that. But I mean, that'd be her call.
Cause I don't want to keep throwing up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean,
I know
especially
with the
she's saying she had head
yeah,
trauma. I mean,
that's why I immediately
Yeah,
pulled
right.
over when she was like finna throw up again. I'm like,
well, do you want me to start rescue for her?
you want to rescue her? I'm trying to get her to hydrate. You want the Pedialyte? Cause you throwing up. You losing fluids, babe. Yo, go with me on this one, please.
I mean,
She's losing fluids, so
right.
you got to put the fluids back in you.
Because I'm sympathetic to you, man. I'll be
Yeah, I don't want you to throw it up too. I gotta give you Gatorade.
Right. But yeah, that's all it is, man. It's just, hey, like, who are you? This is who I am. We always identify who we are, right?
Because you're officers. You're police officers. You know what I'm saying?
That's how we have to do it.
Right.
Cops do not, because I don't think they have the capacity. They don't understand the difference between a public servant and a private individual. They don't understand the difference between private property and public property. I think they're intentionally going out of their way to not understand it. Well, I got to identify myself too. Yeah, you're a public servant. You get funds from the American tax cattle. You bleed us, and you parasitically live off of us, and you are obligated to give us your ID. I, on the other hand, you have a duty. I have no duty. I have no obligation to you. I am the master. You are the servant. Why are you hassling me?
But see, I'm
just a good old boy.
Private person. I just like to keep my business to myself.
Nothing
personal. You know what I'm saying? Just that I don't like my name ran through a system. Bro. I just don't.
I understand. But at the same time, you understand we have a job to do too. Right?
Yes.
We got a job. Just doing my job.
So are
you going to identify yourself or not?
Here we go. Here we go.
All right.
Boom. Hands on. Hands on. All that joking around you just did. All that divulging of information, all that laughing, all that spilling of your guts about this horrendous thing that's happening with the staples in the head, and you're thrown up, and you got sick off of McFlurry out the didn't matter, did it? All that talking, all that jabbering, didn't matter. You thought he was a good guy. Hey, I legit really appreciate him. Do you appreciate him now? Do you appreciate him now? Now the mask has totally slipped. Now they're not operating on the plane of deception. Now you see who they are. The fangs came out, the claws are retracted, the mask slipped. You know who they are. Here we go. Hands on.
Can I have money so I can give it to your mom?
Okay, there's a part 3. Let's go over this. This is interesting. This is still educational. If you guys want me to keep going, put a 1 in the room. I'll just keep going. If I see a lot of 2s and you're like, no, shut up. I don't need to see any more of this. I think this is informational. I think it's instructive. I think every American needs to see this so they can learn to zip their freaking lip, get out their dang cameras, start recording these public tyrants, and invoke your Fifth Amendment right. One thing a cop absolutely cannot stand is for you to be quiet. It makes them so uncomfortable. If anything, that'll make for some great footage. And if you need to, post some bail, just upload that video. It'll get tons of views, because cops cannot stand it when you don't interact with them. They can't stand it. You got to talk. You need to talk to us. I'm lonely. I need somebody to talk to. Don't you understand?
Yes. I'm out with you.
Uh-oh, here we go.
I'm out with you. I've seen you drive this vehicle. I'm out with you.
Did you pull me over?
I'm behind you.
Did you pull me over?
I got behind you for.
Did you pull me over
vehicle.
for a traffic stop?
For a suspicious vehicle.
Did you pull me over?
It is a traffic stop.
No, it's not.
Suspicious vehicle.
So you pulled me over
Suspicious vehicle.
because there was a traffic infraction. I broke the law. Did I break the law?
You already know the answer to that. He said you didn't break the law.
No, I've only got to go like 2 miles up the road.
Here we go.
And I'm going to go to where my dogs are and feed my dogs.
Okay.
I know you guys don't want me to talk, but I got to say this. So if the rule is don't talk to police, it is don't talk to police times 100 when you are now separated. Because now they want to get different stories so they can write in their report, well, she said this and he said this. Shut up.
Thank you.
If you'll just jump in the driver's seat and just hang out with me real quick,
Yes,
make
sir.
sure that, is he always like this? Does he not want to just identify?
Yeah, he watches all those the little videos they have on Facebook and TikTok about the auditing and the amendments, and he's just big on that. So that's
Well,
what.
and that's everybody's right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so he's just, that's his thing everywhere. That's
Okay.
what he's always been. He's always told me to. Passenger side, you don't have to identify. Just it's
But
always.
by law, you have to do it.
By law, he has to identify himself.
Yes, sir.
That's all he had to do. We could have avoided it.
Yes, sir. I understand. I apologize.
You know what I hear when I hear people say by law? By psychopathic parasitic edict. You have to do it. Oh, really? Oh, so you're working for the parasites and the psychopaths. Oh, I see. Because that's what the law enforcement class is doing. By law. My politicians wrote it down, and I'm just doing my job. I didn't write the laws. I'm just out here to enforce them. What are they? Immoral, order-following, power-drunk psychopaths.
Everything.
Okay, I'm gonna ask another question. I want you to be honest with me.
Here we go.
Have y'all been smoking in this vehicle?
No, not from here. Like maybe in Florida when we were in Florida.
So
He has a medical card.
Okay, it's not no good here. Okay.
Yes, I know.
Is there any marijuana in this vehicle?
No, sir.
Okay. So we can smell it coming out the vehicle.
Okay, well, there's nothing in there. No, sir. I assure you, like, I don't travel with anything. I won't do that. I'm not going to do that.
So you showed me 10-15.
If you were going to talk to him, oh, you smelled marijuana. According to Commonwealth versus Barr 2021, odor is not probable cause. Look at that right there. So why don't you go ahead and take this, officer, put it in your pipe and smoke it. But you wouldn't have said that because you've already invoked your Fifth Amendment right to be silent. Dumb.
Like, I even said who I was. Like, I don't, I have no reason to lie, sir.
Okay, so, all right. Brandon, you want me to do this? Yeah, you got
Jeez. Anyway, they see you as liars. They see you as guilty. They see you as a criminal. That is how they see you. That's the end of this. That was a 3-part. How do you think they did? I think they did horrible. Get out your camera. Get out your trifold. Get out your 5A cop card or whatever. Invoke your right to be silent and then be silent. That's it. I will end with a quote by Samuel Adams that I love because it is so freaking true. And you tell me if you think it's false. No person will tamely surrender their liberties, nor can any be easily subdued when knowledge is preserved and virtue is extended. On the contrary, when people are universally ignorant and debauched in their manners, they will sink under their own weight without the aid of foreign invaders, without the aid of the American police force, without the aid of tyrants. You're doing it yourself. Why? Because you lost your virtue and you didn't have knowledge. When people are universally ignorant and debauched in their manners, they will sink under their own weight. And that's what you saw here. You saw Jonathan Williams, and God bless his soul. I'm not saying that he's a bad guy or anything. I'm just saying he's ignorant. I'm not saying he's stupid. I'm saying he's ignorant. He's not aware of the cardinal rule when you're engaging with a law enforcer. Number one, your life is hanging in the balance. Because this guy's a psychopath. This guy literally thinks he has more rights than you. He literally thinks he can take your property and do to you whatever he wants and not feel any kind of consequences for that. Number two, grab your camera, grab your portable courtroom, your portable judge, your portable jury, and show them that you are standing on the moral high ground. And this sucker, this bad sucker before you, is trying to violate not only your rights, but everybody who's sitting on the jury. And then invoke your right to be silent, because we already know from Salinas versus Texas that you don't have that right unless you specifically, clearly, unambiguously invoke it. I've got the link for this in the description, and people are like, man, that's so expensive. If you genuinely can't afford it, everything will be supplied to you for free. If you can't afford it, then pay it forward for those who can't. It's as simple as that. But knowledge is power. Schoolhouse Rock was right. Knowledge is power. And if you remain in ignorance, if you don't stand on morality and virtue, which the cops are absolutely not doing, then you will sink under your own weight without the aid of foreign invaders. And I am telling you, we have domestic and foreign invaders, but we're more at risk from the domestic LEO, law enforcement organization terror cell, than we are from any Al-Qaeda individual who wants to strap a you-know-what to their chest and walk into an airport. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button right now. There's 648 people. Can we get up to 500 likes before we end this video? Can we get up to 500 likes? Just hit the like button. If you think that this video is worth other people watching, share this video. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to all these new and upcoming channels like Inland Auditing Media. We've got the video. Oh, right after I get done with this video, I'm going to be uploading my commentary on this video from the Random Patriot. Excellent interaction. I do have a substantial criticism for the Random Patriot, though, and you're going to have to wait for that. It's going to be in there in the video, but I want to get your take on this, because I do offer a pretty heavy-duty criticism to the Random Patriot as he was interacting with the Hot Springs, Arkansas police, trying to get the response on what they thought should have gone down with that Halloween incident with those kids. And wait till you see the lieutenant come out. The lieutenant coming out. You'd think he would say, "Hey, you know what? You got the assault of my sergeant on tape, and there's nothing I can do. My hands are tied. Sergeant, you're under arrest." Wouldn't that be refreshing to see? So you got all these new and upcoming channels. Make sure that you're subscribing to them. Make sure you're supporting them with your views, with your likes, with your shares, maybe monetarily or whatever. If you want to support this channel monetarily, please don't do it through YouTube. They freaking take 40%. If you want to, the Cash App and all those other links are in the description below. But you know what I really want you to do? Oh man, 513 likes. Thanks, guys. You know what I really want you to do? I really want you to get a backbone. I really want you to rid your mind of the cognitive dissonance cobwebs, get some knowledge, learn what their laws are, hold them accountable for them, stand for your rights. Because you know what? Rights and freedoms are dangerous. They're scary. They're unpredictable. But you know what's more dangerous, scary, and unpredictable? Not having rights. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next live stream. Take care. Oh, you know what I'll do? I will end this stream on YouTube, but I'll keep it open on my OBS, which means that the chat room will be open for it usually ends in 5 minutes, but I'll leave it open for 10 minutes. So if you guys want to chat among yourselves in the sidebar there, I'll leave my window open and that'll let it ride. It should let it ride for 10 minutes. So I will see you guys in the next live stream. Take care.